Now, you know what? I deserve this. I'll make an exception for just a one-off little puff of this. My name is Minzy. This is the only thing I ever want to spend on Todd Bowley and Egg Barley from Clear Lake and Blue Co. Because what does it say? What does it say? What does it say? Fucking champions. We have to wear this fucking golden badge like a bunch of dickheads for the next 4 years. But you know what? That's why we are Club World Cup champions, because even in our darkest hours, we somehow still managed to get ourselves to an FA Cup final. Yes, this is the first time I'm finally get to wear this Chelsea shirt with a bit of pride. Chelsea 1, Leeds United 0, FA Cup semi-final. We are through to the FA Cup final. And of course, we're here to play Manchester City, who have dunked us 3-0 in the last time we played each other. But, wow. Revenge. Fuck you, Leeds. Fuck you, you bunch of pricks. Fuck you. You think I was gonna sit here and watch you lot do 3 on us, yeah? 3 on us. I ain't fucking having that. Nah, I ain't fucking having that. We went to war. We went to war with you cunts. We went to war with you bastards on Sunday. Fucking delighted. Nah. You don't understand. The way how you lot absolutely bombed us at Ellen Road 3-1. And then got a scandalous 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. Man, if you lot would have done it 3 times in a row where you were unbeaten against us, and, well, you probably will survive the Premier League relegation scrap. I couldn't take it. I would not have taken it. My days, it would have turned absolutely disgracefully sour and bitter and bile if you lot managed to dunk on us 3 times in a row. I wouldn't even have accepted this nonsense of, oh, well, look on the silver lining side, at least then it will really drive Todd Bowley and Egg Barley to sell up. It'll be on television. No, fuck that. Fuck that shit, yeah? All I give a shit about is a trophy. Especially the FA Cup. I keep telling people, yeah, the reason why I fell in love with Chelsea was the FA Cup journey that they had in 1997 when they beat Liverpool 4-2 in an FA Cup replay, went on to beat Middlesbrough, and the iconic Roberto Di Matteo quickest goal in the FA Cup final off the underside of the bar, and then Eddie Newton made it 2-0. And we'd won our first FA Cup in more than 50 years against who? The Leeds United, and the old infamous scrappy FA Cup final where there were probably could have been 9 red cards between the lot of them, with the Ron Chopper Harris, the Peter Osgood, the Jimmy Greaves, you name it. This fixture meant a lot to us. It meant a lot to us Chelsea fans. It meant a lot to Leeds United fans. It's the first time I think they reached the FA Cup semi-final since 1984. Correct me if I'm wrong, Leeds United fans. But yeah, I think there was a lot of sit down and shut the fuck up for the rest of the fucking football world out there. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I've had enough of listening to you cunts talk. I really have had enough of listening to you dickheads talk. I've had enough. I've fucking had enough. Tonight, I slap you back, bruv. I slap you back. Fuck you lot. Fuck you lot completely. Alright? I'm not having this talk about, the FA Cup, what a load of shit. Only Manchester City and Chelsea are in it. The business FA Cup. No, fuck off. Why couldn't Leeds United and Southampton play in the FA Cup final? Because they're not fucking good enough, man. Shut up. What's the FA Cup final? I'd rather watch paint fucking try. I'd rather watch fucking I'm a celebrity or whatever nonsense out there. I'd rather goon to this video. Go goon to this video, bruv. Fucking goon to it, bruv. Maybe use a little bit of Durex as well, you pricks. Fucking little dickheads. Fuck off. Fuck off. For those that are in it, we're in it. All right, this is what it means to me. This is what it genuinely means to me to be involved in an FA Cup final. It means the entire world to me. It really, 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 really does. I love the FA Cup. It's the reason why I supported Chelsea. Every time we're in the competition, I always beg and hope we somehow get to an FA Cup final. And we're there. We're there. And I hope that we somehow undo the curse that we have. I think we've lost 7 fucking finals in Wembley. Please don't make it an 8th. We need to win the FA Cup, man. We need to win our 9th FA Cup. Please. Please let it happen, please. I don't care somehow. But it wouldn't surprise me if we come 15th in the Premier League table and somehow win the FA Cup. Because I couldn't give 2 flying monkey shit about the Premier League anymore. Fuck the Premier League. We don't deserve the Champions League. We don't deserve the Europa League. We don't deserve the UEFA Conference League. We're not good enough for either one of them. Yeah, I fully believe that Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth, Fulham, and whoever else is in the mixture deserves European football over us because they've been more consistent. They have shown more fight. They've shown more desire. They've shown more anything. All right, I do not care one iota bit about the Premier League. All I give a shit about is this FA Cup final now. This is our whole season. This is our whole season. We're there because we were brilliant against Leeds United. As I said on Cars's channel, check out Blues Fan TV, and shout out to him as well. With Chelsea fans, we're a unique bunch. We all band together, yeah. There are politics, all right, but when it comes to what matters the most, we'll put politics to one side. Like I said, it's a mess. It's a mess from the top, okay? I agree with all the protests that are happening. Let the protests continue. Now that the FA Cup semi-final is done, we have to wait 3 weeks for the final, and interspersed is going to be obviously Premier League games. We should continue our protest, continuing this weekend at home to Nottingham Forest. Continue the protest. We saw the bus that was driven around, well, not really bus, but a van with a sign outside saying Bluco out on the FA Cup semi-final. Agree with that, but we all pulled because at the end of the day, the protests matter, but what mattered today, what mattered on Sunday was trying to get to the final. That's all we cared about. Leave the politics aside for now. We'll get back to it when it comes back to the Premier League because they need to go. They generally need to go. It's a mess. When you're hearing shit like the chairman going into the dressing room after each and every single Premier League defeat, trying to give them a dressing down, and they're laughing behind your back. The guy that you hired, Liam Rosenior, trying to rev the team up, your little yes man. We're laughing in front of his face and behind his back. It's all going up pear-shaped for you lot. All right, and then disgruntlement upon investors along clearly not impressed with what Eghbali has done, and understandably so. It's a financial despot of absolute travesty, and apparently it's going to get worse based upon the new financial rules that will take shape next season. It is all a big mess. But if we're just going to isolate it and talk about just this game in the semi-final, compare and contrast it to the shite that I had to watch versus Brighton. Wow, night and day, yin and yang, black and white. It was complete polar opposites. Honestly, you lot are frauds, Chelsea Football Club. You lot are genuine frauds. Where did this performance come from? I'm genuinely confused. Why? Where was this? Where was this? I don't know what to say. What I will say is, to be fair, for a Leeds United fan, you must be sick. You must be throwing up because this was probably your best chance into getting into the FA Cup final. This was probably the best chance because you lot have had a terrible run in the FA Cup. You lot get knocked out by Crawley Town. Never mind Chelsea Football Club. But this was genuinely, you lot will feel sick because you lot should have been in the FA Cup final. But I think what done you over was the fact that we sacked Liam Rosenior. Because I still think Leeds would have gone through even if Enzo Maresca was in charge. I really do. Because Leeds United are dangerous when you think they're the most vulnerable. They really are. Because under Enzo Maresca, I'm 100% certain he would have turned things around despite the disaster in December, because he did this in his first stint. He would have done this in his second stint. They would have all pulled together somehow if he was still in charge, okay? They would have all banded together. They would have seen the Leeds United game as a stepping stone and, kicking those peasants back to where they belong. But it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked because Leeds United, like I said, they are more effective and they're very vulnerable. And everyone takes them for granted because they'll do this siege mentality and us against the world thing. They'll be compact. They'll be resolute. They'll do the same thing that they did to us at Ellen Road at Wembley. They would have been just putting in long balls on the top, and they would have been physical against our centre halves. They would have got the knockdowns. They would have scored from set pieces or long throw-ins. It just would have been nasty for us. I genuinely think they would have beaten an Enzo Maresca side, because all we'll do is I keep building up from the back, and these will be like, all right, fine, we'll let you do that, but we'll just stay resolute and just keep playing it long, and you won't be able to handle it. I think they would have beaten an Enzo Maresca Chelsea side, and they would have certainly beaten a Liam Rosenior Chelsea side, not because of tactical genius, but because we would have down-tooled ourselves. We would have, fuck this shit, let them beat us. We'll down tools until the owners realise that they need to sack this guy. I mean, I found it funny when he finally let go of his, politics and, his little nonsense against Brighton, when he finally called the players out and, being furious with their attitude and saying what I found funny was just before he got sacked, saying that he was going to pick an FA Cup squad that was fit for him. In his eyes, in his philosophy. I was like, what made you think you're going to be in charge, big man, for the boss? But what made you think you're going to stay in charge? That made me laugh. And then in the end, he got let go. But hey, he's got 4 million quid out of it, so he's laughing at us, and fair play. Fair play. He should never have been Chelsea boss. He should never have been Chelsea boss. In terms of, all this stuff about, well, it's kind of shitty for the way the Chelsea players done this to Liam Rosenior. Yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, we all saw this coming. It happened to Graham Potter. It was going to happen to Liam Rosenior. I'm sorry. When you're working with the likes of Cucurella, who's won the Euros, you've got Enzo Fernandez, who's won Copa America and the Club World Cup. Yeah, he has won the Club World Cup and the World Cup, more importantly. When you've got personality like these two, who have got such influence and has obviously worked in a team which operates into winning big major tournaments, you're not, as a manager of Strasbourg and Brighton and Hove Albion respectively, necessarily gonna galvanize these players. You really ain't. You really are not. You haven't got that aura about you. And all this nonsense talk about respecting the ball and man age, you're aging the man. You've aged every single Chelsea fan. What grey fucking hairs underneath this fucking Bulgarian tie of mine. You know what I mean? It was always going to end up in disaster. The owners never learnt. They didn't learn from Graham Potter, and I don't think they're going to learn from Liam Rosenior, which begs me to question, I don't know who on earth they're going to hire in as next manager. I hope it is either one of Iriola, says Fabregas, or Xabi Alonso, purely because I think they could galvanise the South American Spanish sort of contingents within our team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there'll be some sort of respect there. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely think he can galvanize those kind of players, and I would like Iriola purely because he'll give youngsters a chance, like Achimbong, Daryl Asugo, Sa, and all of these players chance in the team. I really do. I think he'll be the perfect fit. I'm not saying he'll be the perfect fit to win us the quadruple or the Premier League or anything silly like that. I'm not going to get carried away, Just, a nice little stable finish of maybe 6th or 7th and then push forward from there, because we do need to start again. We're not going to be winning the Premier League anytime soon. Like I said, let's stop putting our name with the likes of Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool. Stop putting our names across them. No. We need to start looking at all the mid-table teams like your Evertons, your Brentfords, your Fulhams, your Brightons, whatever. We're on that level. So we need to stay on top of these levels and then behind the big Donnies, and then slowly start challenging the big boys, because we're nowhere near the big boys. When we used to be a big boy, we're not anymore. We're the small club now, all right? I've accepted that. But anywho, back to the game itself. Like I said, Leeds, the whole reason why they lost this game is purely because Callum McFarlane was in charge. And he moved away from the possession sort of nonsense that we had under Liam Rosenior and the possession organisation that we sort of had under Maresca. He just kept it simple. It was literally defence, just do your job. Make sure you watch out for the long balls and make sure you're winning every first ball. If you don't win the first ball, you try win the second ball. All right? He respected the opposition. None of this respect the ball. He respected the opposition. We knew Leeds were going to do this. All right? And he told the goalkeeper to just boot it long. Don't always play it short. When you tell Sanchez to just operate the way he wants to and stop forcing him to play it short, because every time he kept playing it short, it kept putting us into trouble. When he kept booting it out long, that's how we got our goal. He passed short when he needed to pass short, but 9 times out of 10, he was actually passing it long in that game. And like I said, because Leeds were not the title of vulnerable and underdogs, they were kind of technically the favourite. I don't want to say this is an FA Cup upset. I don't want to start winding up people too much. Leeds United should not be on the level of where Chelsea are, but on this particular game, I think they got slightly carried away with the fact that they probably were favourites for this game. Because at the end of the day, prior to this game, Leeds were playing as a team. Leeds were a unit. Leeds were all pointing to one direction and towards a betterment of the team, betterment to the goal of putting Leeds up the map, up the table, up towards Premier League survival, making sure they do well in the domestic competitions. They were all fighting together as men, as warriors. All right, like I said, Siege mentality, us against the world. Their rigid structure and organisation and everything else on top of it, it works when you think they're vulnerable. It didn't work against Chelsea purely because they technically were favourites, because they had a better form than us. We all kind of looked at ourselves as Chelsea fans and went, we're not quite sure about this game. We don't know where it's going to go. We're just kind of glad that Liam Rosenior has left. But we don't know how this game is going to go. I think a number of us thought that Leeds United probably might pull off another win. But then there was a part of us that when it comes to the big games, Chelsea do generally turn up. And so it proved, because I think we just confused Leeds. They couldn't handle the tag of, what do we do when we're supposed to be the ones that break this vulnerable team down? And I think they got carried away with it, because if they treated Chelsea as if, they were Chelsea, the big team, it would have been different. But because they were caught sort of in two minds of, is it Chelsea, the big team, or is it Chelsea, the small team and vulnerable? They just didn't quite implement their game plan. But in reality, there's a whole game. It was over in the first half. It all hinged on 3 very important things that happened in this game. 3 important things. Number 1 was their miss by Aronson. It was Chalobah with a clumsy pass in the middle. You're trying to find Enzo Fernandez with a square pass. Very risky in the middle of the park. Was cut out by Aronson initially. It then breaks to Bogle. He passes it to DCL. Quick flick through. On goal. Aronson on the right. I don't know what Tosin was doing. I mean, the lineup itself gave me a bloody aneurysm. Sanchez, Gusto, Chalobah, Adarabioyo, and I've had my grievances with Adarabioyo. Cucurella, Neto, Lavia, Fernandez, Caicedo. Subject 49, Garnacho, I'll come on to you in a second, you prick. And João Pedro up front. When Tosin missed that fuck, it was right at him. How did you let the ball slip past you like that, you prick? You absolute prick. Came straight to Aronson. He had the whole of the bottom left to aim at, but how Sanchez saved with his foot, I do not know. That was such a crucial save, because I don't know what would have happened if Leeds United went 1-0 up. What a save. What a save. After that save, it galvanised Chelsea a little bit. Cucurella, long throw. This is what made me laugh about Chelsea. Where did this come from? Suddenly we were keeping it simple. You know, we didn't play any flash nonsense in the back. We were actually doing long throw-ins. We're actually, when we had free kicks, we were just putting it into the mixer. We're just keeping it simple. Cucurella with a long throw-in. It was headed out by Beal. Comes to Enzo Fernandez. Passes it into João Pedro. Flicks it along. Bam! He hits the post. I thought it was saved, but when I was sitting behind the goal, high up in the stratosphere, I thought it was saved, but it hit the post. And after that, you can tell that Chelsea players were switched on. They didn't think the opposite. It wasn't a case of, oh, we at the post, are we going to ever score a goal? No, it was a case of, we're getting closer, and we need to take this by the scruff of the neck whilst we're on top. And they did. This is where the winning goal comes in. Sanchez, like I said, when you don't tell him to keep it short and give him instructions and you just let him do whatever he wants to do, it works. It works better because he played this long. Strauch, he should have cleared it. I don't know why he was dilly-dallying it, but he loses possession out to João Pedro on the right, who passes it into Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto had a fabulous game today. Every one of these players had a brilliant game except for one, and we all know who this number one fucker is here. Clips the ball to Enzo Fernandez with a wonderful header, puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. And I was looking for an offside flag. It felt like I was 7 years old since I last saw Chelsea score a goal. But they scored a goal and I was hugging every single Chelsea supporter left of me, right of me, in front of me. It was a beautiful feeling to score after 27 years of no goals. It genuinely was. It was such a good feeling. I was so elated. And the fact that there was no offside or any other refereeing interventions, fantastic. I was so happy. I think, who was it that was ball watching? I think it was James Justin that was called ball watching. He should have been looking at his runner. He should have tracked his man. He caught underneath the ball, and Enzo Fernandez heads it in. 1-0. That was the winner. Could have been 2-0 when Cucurella on the left passes it to subject wanking 49 Garnacho, who then passes it to Pedro, who plays a 1-2 off Enzo, and then what was it? João Pedro, he runs into Bogle, who passes it to Justin. He passes it to Naka very quickly, but then he was charged down by Lavia, and it breaks to João Pedro, whose back turns to goal, but he swivels, turns, and I thought he plomped it into the bottom right-hand corner. He was nowhere near the bottom right-hand corner. It's always different when you're watching it live, yeah? Always different when you're watching it live from the stratosphere, but he went harmlessly wide. But we were sharp. It was genuinely the sharpest Chelsea half I've ever seen. It was brilliant. It was genuinely brilliant. Don't worry, I didn't pay £2,000 to Todd Bowley's back pocket, yeah? I paid 31 quid as per the membership, yeah? Yeah, I did say I'm not going to spend any more money on this useless football club, but hey, it's an FA Cup semi-final. I have no shame. Fuck off. Right, second half starts, and now Leeds really do want to get their teeth into it. They needed to start a lot better in the second half. Ampati with a long throw in, headed out by Chalaba. There was a couple of ricochets, and it comes to Stack from a long range out. If this was under Rosinia, it was going into the top right-hand corner. He bulleted it. He fucking tracer bulleted it into the top left-hand corner. But somehow Sanchez gets a strong right hand onto it and tips it onto the roof of the net. Fantastic save. And then the move of the match, and I'm going to kill you, João Pedro, you wanker. You have not kill you literally, obviously not. No. I mean, you know, that English saying way of like, seriously, pop your head, João Pedro, man. What the hell? What on earth are you doing, man? What a move. It would have been, I would have called it a Puskas contender, this. This was all genuinely one-touch football. Chalaba to Caicedo, Lavia to Gusto. Gusto passes it back to Lavia. Lavia spreads it out wide to Pedro Neto on the right. All carpet passing so far. Who then passes it to Gusto on the right. In the penalty box, he is near the byline. He sells two of the Leeds United defenders. One of them's on the floor. He cuts it back to Enzo Fernandez, who backheels it to João Pedro. And I thought he was going to shoot there. This fucker, I don't know why. He just wants to put a Leeds United defender on the floor. He puts Bogle on the floor, not once, but twice. Once you put him on the floor once, you could have shot then as well, you prick. Why didn't you shoot, you wanker? For fuck's sake. And then Ampadu and Tanaka come back. Ampadu, I think, gets the vital touch and puts it out for a corner. Well, I think it was given as a goal kick. I don't know. But why? Why, João Pedro? You prolonged the fucking agony. You really did. And then Neto, he collects a long pass. And then João Pedro, he spins past Goodmanson on a sixpence. Starts off another attack. He passes it to short to Enzo Fernandez. He then puts it out wide to the left for our magnificent subject, Haramjada 49. Shoots. It gets blocked by Bogle. He hits it first time. It deflects wide. That was the only decent thing you did the whole game. Every time we get hold of the ball, we were just tutting, kissing our teeth. You get shouting out, "You're a dickhead," and everything on top of it, man. Honest, I've never seen a crowd celebrate a substitution when your name got brought on onto the signboard and Cole Palmer came on. Thank Christ you got, because we could not stand your play, bro. I don't care that you're 21, you're young, and you got your prime ahead of you. You're a disgrace of a footballer. Fucking hell. You've played for Manchester United. I fucking hate you lot as well. Fuck you. Fuck. Is this revenge for Mason Mount for the 60 million that we sold to you? Is this revenge? Fuck you lot for selling us this dud. Although it's not your fault. It's obviously Winstanley and Stewart's fucking brilliant bozo idea going, well, if Garnacho was sit for Manchester United, he would be brilliant for... That's never happened. The only player who slightly can say we bought from Manchester United that's been a success for us was probably Juan Sebastian Veron, and even that's a big iffy one. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not performing well for Manchester United and Manchester United are desperate to get rid of you, that's not a good thing. You're normally at Manchester United because you're there for the long run. If you're being sold off when you're 21... is an alarming, it's an alarm bell. I'm sorry, it's an alarm bell to say, don't buy this fucking player. But no, Winstanley and Stewart, they thought they did 360-degree maths, you know. They found the 360 million player that they wanted. Obviously, we didn't spend 360 million. Otherwise, I would have had a fucking stroke if we spent that amount of money on him. But you know what I'm saying? But didn't see the memo. Didn't see the memo. Never want to see you in a Chelsea shirt ever again. Then the chance that probably did knock out Leeds. Okafor on the left puts in a deep cross at the back stick for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's the chance that he was waiting for. Literally a classic case of either side of the goalkeeper is in. It's a goal. It's a definitive goal. It's 1-1, but he heads it straight at Sanchez. Thank Christ for that. Then sort of like the last few chances of the game is in Nemacha. I don't know how you pronounce your name. I really do apologise, sir. Nemacha. He wriggles free on the left, passes it on to Stack. He tries to find the top left-hand corner, and he dead sends one of the Leeds United supporters to hospital as his long-range shot goes harmlessly over the bar and into the Leeds United supporters. And then Cole Palmer, he blocks Bogle. It goes out for a throw-in, and that was the final whistle. There were so many things to actually clap and feel proud about for being a Chelsea fan. Like I said, I was seeing things that I didn't see under Enzo Maresca and Liam Rosenior. Short passing when needed, long most of the time, even from the goalkeeper. We didn't overcomplicate things. We respected the opposition. We made sure that we were the first to the long ball, or, we got to the second ball. That's what wins you matches. You adapt to the opposition. You see what the opposition are going to do to you. And in the end, confidence will build, like you saw with the one-touch build-up in the second half, which João Pedro should have shot first time. Eventually, it will come through. You will end up looking like the big team again. The whole point in which we went 1-0 up was because we went long. They made a mistake. Strikes sort of cleared. This is what Leeds United will do. They will give you opportunities because they're not Manchester City. I don't expect a player from Manchester City to do what Leeds United did. I don't expect a Manchester City player to do what Struijk did. I really don't. I don't expect to see them lose the ball in the penalty box because it's Leeds United. It's not Manchester City. We respected what they were going to put out for us. We beat what they were going to do for us. And in the end, we won. We won. We're through. We're deservedly through. Fuck all this moaning about Sanchez going down, feigning an injury, and then having a tactical break and getting the instructions on. Fuck off, man. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, and shut the fuck up. All right? We're not the first club to do it. We're not the second club to do it. So many teams have done it before in the past. I'm pretty sure if Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, these mandems did what we did, they'll be heralded as dark arts masterclass and giving them a round of applause for tactical geniuses. Yeah, so shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm going to enjoy this final between Chelsea and Manchester City. I don't care if we get rollocked 6-0 or 17 billion goals to nil by Manchester City and a devastating Erling Haaland. Do you think I give a two flying monkey shit? Shut the fuck up. We're in the fucking final. We're here to play them. Like I said, we could finish 15th and we could still somehow win the FA Cup. It would not surprise me one iota bit at all. But we're there. We're there. And back to business in the Premier League. Not by getting 3 points. I mean, we would like 3 points, don't get me wrong. But to restart this protest. Get these mandems out of our club. Get these mandems out of my club. I don't want to hear this nonsense of, well, they spent £2 billion. They should be grateful. Shut the fuck up. All right, it's sort of like the same situation West Ham are in, but in the completely opposite direction. West Ham are down there because they don't spend any money and improve the squad. We spend our money and make the squad worse. What's the point? We might as well save our money and not spend at all. You know what I mean? If you're gonna spend money to play absolute dog shit and buy dog shit players, don't spend any money then. We can play dog shit by not spending any money, like a West Ham, and then we'll be fighting relegation along with West Ham and Tottenham. You know what I mean? So no, if you're not going to be sensible with money, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, and I don't know what's going to happen next season under these new Premier League financial rules. We don't know what's going to happen, but at the end of the day, that's their mess, and we need to keep the pressure onto them to say, sort this mess out or get out, preferably. Get the fuck out, because we've had enough of you lot. We've had enough of you lot, Clear Lake and Blue Clue. You Blue Clueless. Blue Clueless and Clear Lake. Clear Blue. Clear off. We've had enough. We've had enough. Just take your stock and fuck off. We've had enough of you lot. It's done. It's dusted. You tried your best. But it's failed. It's failed. Okay, you haven't failed Roman Abramovich. You failed Ken Bates. You've undone his work. You've undone his work. He was the reason why he got us stable in the first place. Roman came in, took the reins, made it a debt-free club, made us a successful club. You've undone Ken Bates' good work. We're now a fucking debt-ridden calamity nightmare with no identity on the pitch. Do us a favour, fuck off and leave. This is not Major League Baseball with your LA Dodgers nonsense where if you finish last in the group table after a disastrous season, you have picks and whatnot for wild cards. It doesn't work like that. You only get good players the higher up position you go. The lower you go, the dangers of being relegated. Think Tottenham, think West Ham. We're not those clubs. Fuck off. Get out. Get out. We're not going to attract players like... Well, we won't attract Kylian Mbappe anyway, but even if we were going to bid him, do you think Kylian Mbappe is going to come to a Chelsea side that's in the Championship? Yeah, he'll swap the Bernabeu for a night at Vicarage Road. I don't see that happening. But there you go. There you go. I'm Minzy. We're in the FA Cup final to play against Manchester City. And I'm off to Australia this Sunday, so can't wait to meet a kangaroo to kick me in the bollocks. Goodbye, good night, God bless. Au revoir.